So there's a little bit of gum on the floor mat. I got as much off as I could with the pick, but there's still a little bit left, so I'm gonna fire up the steamer and get it all melted off. While the steamer is warming up, we'll clean off these door jambs. For areas like this, I just turn off the pressure washer so there's not as much water going everywhere, and just kind of rinse it out. And then dry up the extra with a towel. Here's little spots of gum I was talking about. Let's see if the steamer will remove it. And now is when I separate the personal belongings from the trash. There's not much trash in here, so. Since this car is pretty clean, I'm not gonna take out the seats. So the next step is blow out all the dirt and debris from underneath the seats and in the cracks like this, where it's harder to reach with the shampoo or the vacuum. We'll blow out the cup holders, all the crevices on the dash, and the door panels. And then we're gonna pull out the rigid 6 horsepower shop vac, and I have the detail kit with it, so I have a really long hose. Makes it super easy so I don't have to move this thing around the whole vehicle. Well, my Adams tire and rubber cleaner came, and let's see what else I got. That is a big sprayer for this little bottle. Ooh. So if you guys know, this carpet on the back of the seats, it's kind of like Velcro. All this little dirt and stuff, pet hair, super hard to get out of this kind of material. So I'll show you a little trick. Yellow drill brush on a drill. You want to hold it sideways like this so it kind of just picks it up, scoops it up out of there. Someone tell Milwaukee to sponsor me. Carpet like this doesn't need to be extracted because there's no stains and it's not heavily soiled. So I like to use Folex in a spray bottle, spray down the carpet, and then scrub it with a drill brush, and then either vacuum it up if there's a lot of dirt like that left over, or just dry it off with a towel. And while I'm doing the carpet, I like to spray down all the plastics around the carpet and the seat tracks and the pedals with degreaser, and clean those first, and then I clean the carpet. Another little trick, I use my air compressor to blow out all the seals right here to get all the dirt out of them, and also around the emblems right here. Okay, I scrubbed down the carpet. Now I'm just drying it off with my towel. And cars in this condition, I just work sections at a time. So I'll do the carpet first so it has enough time to dry. It's really not even that wet right now. It's pretty dry actually, but then we'll move on to the seat and we'll degrease this whole seat, get it as clean as possible, clean out all these holes, and then we'll go the center console, the dash, steering wheel, and then door panel, and then we'll move on to the next area. Seats like this, you want to make sure you pull out this little area if it has it, and you can see the difference in the color. It's what it's supposed to look like. I like to use super clean, diluted 5-to-1, or maybe a little bit stronger if they're super dirty, but I also got a little bit of Dawn dish soap in here. And then I'll use my stiff brush. I don't like to spray the cleaner directly on the leather because it likes to discolor it. So I spray it into my brush and then scrub it on. I do little spots at a time. It's not too hot outside, so it won't dry as fast, but I'll still just do one spot at a time. I actually only cleaned half of this spot just so I can show you guys the difference in the color. But there it is, all clean. So I'll get to the rest of the seat. And yes, this brush is safe on leather. I don't know if you can tell, but all this is clean now compared to the back. It's a couple shades darker. Now moving on to the center console, we've got the same cleaner, super clean, and a brush. I like to spray it into the brush unless the car is super dirty, but this one doesn't really need it. Just scrub it. And usually you want to move your shifter so you get behind it, but this one doesn't move. So when you're drying it up with your towel, there's going to be little spots that the soap stays in, like the cracks, like that. I use an air compressor to blow it out, but if you don't have your air compressor, you could just use another detail brush, just another dry one, and kind of go over it again, brush it, and it'll pull the soap right out. But I just... And for the air vents, since these ones aren't bad, just spray cleaner onto the brush and then get as much as you can. Sometimes I gotta use steam if they're really bad, but we'll wipe up as much as we can with our rag. And then again, we'll use an air compressor to get what we can't reach. And a lot of people are afraid of getting the buttons wet like this, but cars are made to get a little bit wet. The buttons right there, they're gonna get wet from the rain. If you leave your door open, it's fine if they get a little bit of water on them, just don't soak them. And make sure you clean behind the steering wheel also. Usually they're right here, there's a lot of dirt or makeup or lotion. You want to make sure you get that. Also make sure you move the steering wheel down so you get in this little area. And then right here in between where the column and the steering wheel meets, you want to clean inside there. How I do it is I take my rag, kind of squeeze it in between, and then just move it back and forth until it's all. Okay, so since I just got this, I'm gonna try it out on this door panel. It's pretty dirty right here, so I don't know if it'll actually clean this spot, but we'll try it out. And we're just using the same cleaner I used on the rest of the interior. Then we'll switch it over to just air and my towel, and then we'll dry it off. And I'd say it did pretty good on this spot. Usually I'd have to use a stiff brush to clean all that, but did pretty good. So it turns out this thing is a lot faster at cleaning than my hands are, so I'm gonna start using it. Here's the air vent. It's kind of dusty. And I did get this for free from Adams, so thanks, Adams. Another little test spot. Normally I have to use my stiff brush for this. I don't know if this will clean it, but let's try. Oh, gotta turn the knob. Dry. Actually, let's wipe off the extra with the towel first. Then we'll dry it out. It won't focus, but it's actually pretty clean. Even for the seats, look how easy this is. Look at all that junk. Spray it all down. Brand new. Well, this thing saved me a lot of time on this detail. So if you guys want to pick one of these up, I have a link in my bio, along with all the other tools and chemicals I used on this vehicle. So now we'll just give it one last final vacuum and then put some dressing on the plastics. I like to use 303 Aerospace, but I've been using some Leather Nourish by Wax Shine. Makes the car smell like a new car. And it leaves a matte finish, and it's self-leveling, so you don't have to come back and buff it off. I actually found out about this stuff from JT Mobile Detailing, decided to try it out, and it's one of my new favorites. But I do like putting 303 Aerospace on these mats because it makes them look brand new. So we'll let it sit for a second, and then we'll buff it off with a microfiber. And how this stuff works, you spray a couple sprays onto a microfiber applicator pad. That's what I like to use. Then you just wipe it on. You can do a couple coats if you want to make it a little bit shinier. I just like to do one for a matte look. But once it dries, it'll be nice and matte with no streaks. And it looks pretty good. And there it is, all dry. Gives it a nice factory look. Personally, I don't like shiny leather or plastics. So, there it is. Now I can buff off all the excess of the 303, and I'll show you the finished look. And here's what the mats look like when they're all dry. They're not slippery at all. Do not want slippery mats in the car. Then here's what they look like in the car. I still got to do the glass and the gauges and the navigation screen, the mirrors, and then maybe some air fresheners. This detail will be done. For the glass, I just use invisible glass. I get the kind that foams up, because if you use the real liquid kind, if you're spraying like the screen or the gauges, it runs down and goes behind the glass. Same thing with the glass right here. When you have the foam, it kind of just stays where you want it to. For towels, I use these ones. I have them linked in my bio. They're sewn together, so when you're trying to get the window or any tight space and you're wiping, the rag doesn't unfold on you. And then I use another glass towel to mop up all the streaks. And when I'm doing windows, I roll them down a little bit so I make sure I get every inch of the window. Then I like to go back through with some detail spray and get all the door jambs, clean up all the chemical overspray. Then I like to put a little something in the car. I got a keychain with my logo on it, some mints, and some air fresheners. And that's it for today's detail. Let me know if you guys enjoyed some step-by-step videos like this. And maybe I'll start posting more on my story. But just kind of doing a walk around to show you guys the final results. And again, this one wasn't too bad. Just kind of freshening it up. The really dirty ones, I tackle it with a different technique, but this is kind of how I do my normal dirty cars.